Today, we are going back to Minmus, and we're going to talk about the singularity. We're launching in 3, 2, 1. And just like that, we are up into the air. So, welcome back to my daily Kerbal Space Program playthroughs. This particular rocket is essentially the heavy lift rocket I used in the last video. Don't hesitate to take a look at that one in the description below. It is slightly modified. It does have more radial boosters, as well as I did remove the command module, since I wasn't necessarily going to need it for this particular mission. Now, with that being said, the lander on the top of it is essentially a lunar lander module Mark II, and a mobile processing lab with plenty of fuel mounted radially, some RCS monopropellant fuel, and that is quite the sunrise I just got artificially, and then as well as landing struts, the actual science bay here for all my scientific equipment, as well as a single main engine. It should give me more than enough Delta V to take care of the mission at hand, being that we are landing on Minmus. Does not require a huge amount of Delta V to actually get done, which I absolutely love. Makes things a lot easier. That is also why I'm heading to Minmus first. I will most likely be using this one to land back on the moon as well, although I'm pretty sure I'll have to do some minor tweaking for it, as I'm sure you can imagine. So we are staging here. Stage. Boom. Wow. Wow. It's quite the disaster. Although, surprisingly worked. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to modify that in the future, Jesus. Okay, so we are going to circularize our orbit here to make it nice and simple. In fact, I'm gonna use MechJeb for this. Maneuver planner, we are going to circularize at next, apoapsis, create, and execute. Perfect. It will eat a little bit into our second stage, but that is a-okay. We have plenty of Delta V for that as well. Beautiful. Okay, so, question for you guys. Have you ever heard of the singularity? Okay, think it over for a second. Got it in your mind? Awesome. So, the singularity itself is in essence come on, are we not going to the maneuver node here? With no? Okay, SIS? No? No one likes that? Is that not a thing? Get rid of that. Okay, good question. Create node. Turn on SAS. Maneuver. We're just gonna throttle up here. We need to catch up to our maneuver node. It's weird that it did that. Usually it takes care of it, no problem. Anyways, so the singularity itself, right, is as described, is the point of which artificial intelligence takes over for humans, in essence. It's commonly looked at as a bad thing, although, to an extent, understandably, we're never really certain of what exactly artificial intelligence might do. I'm going to modify our trajectory here. It's getting a little bit dangerous. I'm going to raise our apoapsis slightly, just so we don't start heading back towards the planet's surface. Go, keeping this ahead of myself. That's good about right there. So the singularity, again, kind of looked at as somewhat of a bad thing. I don't necessarily personally think it's a bad thing. I think there's a lot of potential in artificial intelligence. And I'm going to put quotes on artificial intelligence as the way we describe it now, because in reality, it is not intelligence. That would be a bit disingenuous saying it is artificial intelligence, because we think of intelligence as the way our brains work. Right? So artificial intelligence does not quite exist yet, because we do have neural networks. And yes, those can learn, if you want to describe it that way. But saying that they are in any way comparable to humans would be horribly disingenuous. And I say that only because... Okay, let's actually modify that. Yeah, let's change this. This is gonna be the right way to go here. Perfect. There we go. I do like myself some of that. Awesome. Okay, so... It really begs the question. The singularity itself, if we look at what artificial intelligence can do now, which I would definitely say is rather limited, okay? As you can imagine, I mean, the artificial intelligence we have can modify images, can see... Can see if there is in any way, you know, let's say a car in a photo, can have a space capsule dock with a station, and that is more or less not even artificial intelligence, that's just a standard program, which I think is commonly stated as being artificial intelligence, but in reality, a majority of things we interact with that are called quote-unquote AI are not actually AI. They are, in simple terms, I'm going to set Minmus here as target. They are, in very simple terms, just relatively complex programs. And not even necessarily that complex, let's be honest. Is that... okay. Let's focus here for a second. Ooh, I like that encounter. Oh, not bad at all. Okay, so we are going to go with that. I think that is a good option. Although it does use quite a bit of Delta V, it doesn't take that much to land on Minmus, as you can imagine. I have more than enough of it to go around. So we are going to set that maneuver up real quick. We do want it to be fully ready to go once we come around. All delightful and like. Go, and we're in the dark here. Let's just, just warp get out of the dark really quick. Ooh, nice. Nice. Electrical charge. Ugh, we are eating through electrical charge, so... boom. Plenty of electrical charge we will get back here very shortly. As you can see, that electrical charge is climbing. We do not want to deplete our batteries. Again, we have learned that lesson in the past. And as far as monopropellant goes, we have a metric butt ton. So we should have no issues there at all. In fact, I'm going to shut off use of this. So we use the monopropellant in the main tank almost entirely before we ever have to use the one inside the landing module itself. I do not want to waste any of that. We are setting up for our burn here really quick. We have 10 seconds to go. We will be doing a bit of an odd maneuver once this whole thing, for a lack of better words, finishes burning. It's going to be a very interesting maneuver, to say the least. Go. We are just about to cut burn from lack of fuel. Boom. No more burn. We have throttled back. We are going to take control from the main capsule section. Okay. And then we are going to turn on stability assist. Decouple these two modules. Decouple node. Perfect. And for some reason, that flipped back over there. So we're going to go back to the space sensor real quick. Okay. So we're going to go into docking mode. We are going to move ourselves away from the piece of debris here. That will continue doing its thing. It has no intelligence to it in any sort, so we can't really modify its current trajectory, unfortunately. It does have RCS and electrical charge, but nothing more beyond that. So we are going to set towards the direction of prograde, and we are once again going to make a new maneuver here. Now, with that being said, actually getting to Minmus, I said that we were getting. Who says that? That's odd. We are going to have to make a new maneuver here really quick. Perfect. Go. Is this... activate engine. I don't know why that was off. That was weird. Did not do that before. Ooh, that's a lot of Delta V. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's modify this node here really quick. Are coming in. Boom. Wow. Take a look at what that is doing. That is pretty solid. It's pretty solid, alright. So let's use that trajectory. I think that is a very reasonable one. And then we are going to actually warp to that location and hopefully get that lander headed towards Minmus. Because this is going to get us a butt ton. And when I say a butt ton, I mean an absolute butt ton of science. And I do have ways of transmitting it back, because if I did not, I'd be very upset. I'm going to extend these antennas. There we go. These adorable little guys. I think they're cute. Extend antennas, yes. Yeah, look at them. Look at them go. Okay, so 30 seconds till engine ignition. 3, 2, 1, throttle up. It's not going to be the longest burn. We are going to be closest approach. How long ago is that going to be? 12 days and 5 hours. Man, that's still tough. I would hate to be in a capsule for 12 days straight. Man, like, looking at the Dragon launch, I think it is so much better than, for example, the Soyuz, right? Because they actually have leg room, for one. And two, they have essentially a bathroom. They have just about all the amenities you could ever want, which I think is super awesome, you know? Okay, so orbit, we are going to circularize at next periapsis. Yeah, I think that is the way to go. At the next periapsis, yes. Beautiful. But meantime, we are going to actually, instead, we are going to fine-tune closest approach to target, and we are going to do about 500 kilometers. Give us a nice modification to our orbit, giving us the ability to make sure we can circularize at a reasonable distance, and then we can move our orbit lower and lower until we get ourselves a good location to actually land. Now, this is going to be a semi-permanent, and I say semi-permanent mission because it's going to stay there for a very extended period of time. The reason for that being is, again, like the other ones in their respective orbits. Oh, is that comet? Unknown object. Wow. How fast is that moving? 16 days ago. Oh my gosh. It has to be moving quickly. Very quickly. Oh man. Well, I'm gonna warp forward a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's moving way too quickly. There's no way I could do another mission to go for that. Oh my god. That is faster than I am, I think. It sure is. Okay, well, we're gonna have to, unfortunately, miss that one. I wish I knew that was there. But that is no issue. One day we will take a trip to some of those unknown objects. I'm sure they are very interesting. So we are going to create and execute this node. That is incorrect. Why is it so weird? That's alright. We can instead... Come on. Stop spinning, crazy man. We can instead warp to our orbit around Minmus. Just directly there, because that will give us the ability to circularize in orbit around the Minmus, which we do need to do sooner than later. Where on... Oh, there it is. Nope, Kerbin. Where is Minmus? Minmus is so small. Oh, there it is. Okay, okay. It's right here. There we go. Wow, it's coming towards me pretty quick. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so now we can do the circularize at next periapsis. Yes, create and execute. I love the look of that. In 2 hours. And since we are in orbit around the Minmus, what I can also do, because I do have a scientist on board, is we're going to observe the materials bay, which I can send... Ooh, that's a lot. Oh my gosh. I can send to the process... to be processed in the lab, which we can use for later, as well as all of our other scientific equipment. We can take pressure test, temperature test, and observe Mr. Goo, EVA report, crew report. We can do all these things, send that to the lab, have it process it, we can land, and then once that is done processing, we can once again process the things on the surface of Minmus. So it'll turn essentially 2 missions into 1, which I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of, only because all these scientific experiments take so long. Which I might end up doing a second mission here anyway, but we're gonna start with this. Beautiful. Log pressure data, log temperature data. So much science. So currently, that's already 2.0898 science a day. That is rather impressive. Okay, so we are going to actually start research. We might as well. Let's stop research. That's true, we don't need to do that yet. We're gonna clean those experiments. We are going to do the crew report, send that. We are going to do the EVA report, and we're also going to bring that to the... Yeah, keep that board, and bring that to the mobile processing lab as well. Plenty of science to do. 2.5880 science per day. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, beautiful. And just like that, we can continue our mission. So, periapsis and apoapsis, what do we have going on here? At apoapsis, we're going to bring down our periapsis. Too much. Way too much. Okay. That looks pretty solid. At periapsis, we are going to bring down our apoapsis. And then, as we get towards our periapsis that we just created, we are now going to do our landing burn. So this should give us plenty of... Ooh, turn back on SAS. Plenty of delta V, plenty of room to work with. Minmus is going to continue spinning, which is going to make things a little bit difficult to pick out an actual landing zone right now, but that is okay. Shouldn't have too many issues with that. So let's warp over there. Imagine, for a single moment, that you could make an AI that would produce a rocket, create the flight plan, and execute it without any single flaw. Okay. That is essentially, I believe, if if I could say this, what SpaceX wants to do. Now, I say that because they have already talked about all the different new types of software, all the new implementations of hardware, all of the new implementations of interfaces between humans and the actual computers themselves. It makes sense that they'll be working towards this end goal, because if in the end, you can, in essence, we're just going to start this burn now, if you can, in essence, just tell a computer what it is you want. Say, I want to land on the surface of Mars in the next year. And it goes, okay, here are the schematics, here's the date and time, and this is exactly what you can bring to Mars. And you go, okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. You gotta thank the AI. They might take you out if you don't. I'm joking. If you could do something like that, then all of a sudden you've completely solved the problem of space travel. Because now the AI itself solves these problems for you, right? And I think that's a wonderful future. And I think the idea behind AI is really to work towards implementations like that, because who wants to make an AI that can kill humans? That doesn't make any sense. I think the military might like things like that, but I don't think standard people have any interest in dealing with that garbage. I mean, let's be honest, that sounds miserable. Let's start the burn right now. So in the end, why is it that after all these implementations are starting, that AI is so thoroughly frowned upon? The idea behind the singularity, back to the original kind of statement, is that AI is dangerous, and at some point in time, it is going to take us over, right? The singularity being when AI is smart enough to make humans obsolete. Which, don't get me wrong, I think is plausible, but I don't think humans as a species will generally let something like that happen, only because of the reason that the way we use AI are pretty much what I previously said. We use them to do very specific tasks, okay? It's a program that learns and adapts as needed, in essence the same way that humans do. That's the theory behind making an artificial intelligence. Something that is intelligent in the way we are, because we can adapt and learn, which I really love. Because now that humans are doing what we do at such a scale, we need assistance doing things more efficiently, more effectively, quicker, easier, better resource allocation. Because we are killing ourselves. That's kind of just the way we work. We consume and we consume and we consume. We don't really think of the future, despite being able to plan ahead. So, I don't know. The singularity itself, I can't say is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a concept that we perceive and we do our best to avoid. Because if we don't avoid it, it could be an end to humanity as we know it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it is something we should be afraid of. You know, I guess the best way I could describe it. So we are landing. This is our deorbital burn. That is about right. Good enough. Perfect. We are now headed in towards the surface real quick. We are going to set to retrograde, making this a convenient re-entry point. We are going to warp down towards the surface. We are going to land on as flat of the area as possible, again, in these giant frozen lakes. Don't mind being next to the edge, only because it gives us something to look at, and I'm sure Valentina and Hadzon Kerman would love something to look at. It's a little bit boring out there for the amount of time they're going to be floating around, that's for sure. Okay, so we are going to open this, do some more science now that we are near the surface. That's so much science. Oh my god, okay. That's a lot of science. Let's do some more science here. Logging temperatures, logging pressures. We want to get our stored science as high as physically possible. And we are once again going to do a crew report. And we are also... Crew report, transmit that. And we are also going to do an EVA. Because this gives us the ability to... Yeah, board. Yes, please. Review data. Oh, God, so much. Clean experiments. Let's close this, and let's prepare for landing. We do not want to be distracted here, that is for sure. And we're actually going to start throttling up, lower our velocity, but maintain downward movement. We do not want our retrograde flipping on us. That would make this a really bad landing, to say the least. We've already seen that happen more than once, and we do not want to deal with that. So, perfect. And we have plenty of signal strength. As long as we have signal strength, we can, in fact, transmit the science back. which gives us the ability to continue doing science here. And with these solar panels, we can maintain a presence here for a very extended period of time. And as you'll see, we have almost full data. Once we get back to the surface, we will be able to work on getting these surface samples and such. Perfect. We are going real slow, and I cannot warp. Alright, so we're going to go into docking mode. Go. RCS on. No. Okay, I guess that's not something we can do. Weird. Okay. That's true. I turned that off. That would do it. So we're going to increase our vertical velocity towards the surface. I don't want to be stuck up here all night, that's for sure. Proverbial night. The sun's right above us. It's nighttime when I'm filming this, just for the record. That's the only reason why I say that. Okay, beautiful. This is going swimmingly well, and I also have wonderful ladders, so they can walk around on the surface if they want to do something. That is for sure. So, with that being said, we are very close to the surface within 1 kilometer. You can see that distance closing at the top here. I'm going to start throttling up, maintain minimum 10 meters a second. We do not want to keep slowing down past that, or else this is going to take absolutely forever. Wow. This is a beautiful sight. Can't imagine looking out a window and seeing that. That is something else. It's been an incredibly smooth mission. And I can get them back to Kerbal orbit, too. If I ever need to bring them back, I can always rendezvous with them in Kerbal orbit, and I can work on getting the crew back, since this does not have any descent module to re-enter atmosphere. That is something, I can't say I overlooked it. It was something I was thinking about, but it was not something, oof, nice, touchdown. Oh, but it wasn't really something I was too concerned about. So, we are on the surface. We are going to start research, because we can get plenty of research. Look at that, 6.719 science per day. It's huge, absolutely massive. And then we are going to do an EVA with Valentina. She is going to be, I'm going to retract this particular solar panel. It is kind of in our way. Okay, we are going to do an EVA report. We are going to keep that. Take surface sample, keep that as well, but we are going to let go. This is going to give us the chance to plant a wonderful flag out here, and I'm just going to leave her back inside the actual science module. We don't need her in the cupola. It's a bit lonely in there. That is for sure. So, plant flag, wonderful. Right next to the landing site. I wish I had a rover here. I can almost build one. So close, but not quite. For science. Minmus looks like mint ice. Ooh. Cream. Tasty. Yeah. Nice. Beautiful. So, let's get back into the module. We do not want to be out here all day. It gets a little bit dangerous. Aye. So, board. Beautiful. We are going to review that data. Review data. Ooh, that is a lot of data. That might be too much data, actually. So that we could definitely add. But if we were to add the other surface sample data, it would go over, and that would not work for us. So we're just going to keep that experiment for the moment. And, just like that, we have some fantastic science running, and this is going to give us a huge buttload of science in the very near future. Look at that, 7.3872 science per day. That is absolutely massive. Okay. Well, guys, this has been an extraordinarily successful mission. I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Bye.